They say I perfected the time and again. Titans the base league, we here for the win. Born divine with all of my kin. I see they religious, they worry about sin. That's all they do and they be like, they say I perfected the time and again. Titans the base league, we here for the win. Born divine and all of my kin. I see they religious, they worry about sin. Hop out the Lexus and slid in the Benz. Pouring libations with all of my friends. Manifesting got me 10 out of 10. I live in abundance, got money to spend. They say I perfected the time and again. Titans the base league, we here for the win. Born divine and all of my kin. I see they religious, they worry about sin. Hop out the Lexus and slid in the Benz. Pouring libations with all of my friends. Manifesting got me 10 out of 10. We gone to the top, little shorty, get in. Yeah, watch how you address me when you step in the room. I'm the host and debater, HMXC in full bloom. I be that for lashes like work to my floor. Check your epistemics before you knock on my door. Y'all talking circular, trapped in a loop. I'm slicing through noise like a razor through brood. Bring all the scholarly smoke from your schools. Watch me dissect every premise you brought. I do Socratic methods on all of your claims. Just turn your whole worldview to dust and remains. And choruses like work, I quiet the noise. You're fighting with myths, I'm adjusting the scales. Call a sum of arguments, heavy and cold. Dialectics are frail, yeah, your theories are old. Challenge the throne and you'll leave with no ground. We want the highest tier minds in the town. So check your logic before you speak to the king. Cause I break down a weak point before you even begin.
Coliseum of Arguments presents Titans Debate League, Clash of the Titans 1.1. The arena is opening once again, and only the strongest minds will survive. After an unforgettable first tournament, Pandemus the African Atheist fought through the battlefield of ideas and walked away with $500 in cash. But that was then. This time we're raising the stakes. $1,000, one champion, one title, one chance to prove you're the greatest debater in the league. This isn't social media arguing, this isn't trolling in the comments. This is intellectual warfare, where evidence is your weapon, logic is your shield, and every round is a fight for survival. New challengers are stepping into the arena. Veteran fan favorites are returning. Egos will fall, legends will rise. The question is, do you have what it takes to survive the Coliseum? We still have a few tournament spots available. Think you belong among the Titans? Message TitansDebateLeague@gmail.com and claim your place before the gates close. Coliseum of Arguments presents Titans Debate League, Clash of the Titans 1.1, where great minds don't just debate, they go to war. Are you not entertained? Coliseum of Arguments, only the brave speak here.
What's up, family? Mic check 1 2 1 2. Let me know, family, if I'm being choppy or if I'm clear. The other night I had some issues with my laptop, so I had to go check on that. So I'm here today. I'm trying to make sure everything run fine. Today, family, I'm gonna be bringing you my point of view on numbers. Right? I know this is something that gets overlooked a lot, although this is also something that we use in our life every single day, every moment, right? And before I get into it, I just want to say what's up to the family in the chats. I see you, Smash. I see you, Melanated. Thank y'all for joining. Man, please, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button. Everybody, please drop a like for the video, share the video, and hit them hearts and hit them 100s down there. I appreciate it. We gonna get into it. So, as a naturalist, right? I take a naturalistic approach when dealing with abstractions such as numbers. Um, there is a view out here that numbers are objective entities all on their own that operate within time and nature. I myself go against this view. I hold a more of a sense that numbers do not exist as an objective thing on its own. It only exists as a label identifier in relation to something that do exist. Now, as we get in here, as we get into the presentation, family, what I'm saying is going to be more apparent. Um, and so I just wanted to, give a couple words of an overview until we get in here. Right? Grammar of reality, a naturalistic deep dive into the nature of numbers. Let's get into it. The illusion of the objective brick. Right? So when we deal with numbers, again, oftentimes we view numbers as this objective thing in nature, right? However, the reality is, they're not, right? There is no such thing as a three. There's a such thing as three apples. There's a such thing as three cars. There's a such thing as three people. But when you take the three away from the subject or the set, then three in of itself means absolutely nothing. Let's get into it. Numbers are the map, not the territory, right? Though through the lens of naturalism, numbers are not independent physical entities floating in the cosmos. They are cognitive and linguistic labeling systems projected onto nature by the human mind to navigate our environment. And we see this become apparent just throughout our daily lives, right? When we talk about time, right? Often times we use numbers, right? We use a number line when we going back, when we're dealing with dates, when we're dealing with cyclical time, right? We use clocks and things of that nature. The numbers on those measuring tools, those time measuring tools, are just symbols. They're not intrinsic, right? And they're useful symbols. I'm not in any way negating that we should just throw numbers away, numbers don't exist, stop working with them. No, they're useful. They're useful because this is how we map out this thing we call reality, right? Otherwise, we wouldn't know what 3 inches is. We wouldn't know what 5 feet is. We wouldn't know, what 330 was, right? But the number aspect of these things don't exist as a thing within itself. It only exists as a relational label when identifying other objective things. Let's get into it. Pillar 1, the absence of physicality. Genuine objects in nature possess intrinsic measurable physical properties independently of our thoughts. Numbers poses none of these. You cannot walk into a forest and stumble upon an isolated 3. Numbers have no self-identifying metrics outside of the physical things we assign to them. So this is exactly what I was talking on my last slide, right? Take this apple for an example. Right? The apple has a mass of 150 grams, right? An atomic structure, which is carbon based, and a temperature, right? Which is 22 degrees. But now, let's take this same metric of identifying an object and let's put it to the number 3 for an example. 3 have no mass, it have no atomic structure, it has no temperature, and have no physical intrinsic properties, right? Which means it doesn't have a definition, which means we can just make up what the definition of 3 is. And you see this become apparent when dealing with mathematicians, when dealing with physicists, when dealing with quantum mechanics. We see they use numbers. However, those numbers are only symbols, right, for the field studier interpretations. They're not objective identifiers, but they're subjective symbols, right, for interpretation. Let's get into it. The fictionalist solution. Modern philosophy of science, specifically nominalism and fictionalism, proves that mathematics is our conceptual glue, not an independent component of the cosmos. Mathematics is in a certain sense false, though useful. More specifically, there are no such thing as numbers, functions, sets, etc. And so statements that quantify over numbers are strictly speaking untrue. Oh, hold on 1 second, family. Oh, this the brother Quantum. What it do, Quantum? What it do, Quantum? Henry Field, Science Without Numbers. So this is a philosopher, a fictionalist who wrote a book called Science Without Numbers. He actually did a whole study in this field of science and numbering, and he found out that, or he wrote a paper that numbers are intrinsically, numbers don't intrinsically exist. You know what I'm saying? And this is just by one, of the prominent figures in this field. Let's get into it. Number 2, the shape-shifting nature of numbers. If numbers were objective, absolute things inherent to nature, every field of study would define and use them in the exact same way. Instead, numbers shapeshift based on human utility. They are radically interpretive across intellectual domains. I was just explaining this, right? So, whereas though one field of study may use numbers in one way, another field of study may use numbers in a completely different manner. Mathematics and physics, just to name two fields, right? And so numbers are shape-shifting, identifiers, right? They're interpretive. How we bend the symbols. Practitioners across disciplines make numbers fit wherever they work best. None of these fields possess a definitive, universally agreed upon ontological definition of what a number is. Itself is, right? So I was just giving some examples earlier. Mathematicians, physicists, philosophers, mathematicians, abstract, they gave you numbers as abstract structures dictated by axioms. Physicists, operational values used to model forces and predict outcomes. Philosophers debate ontology concepts. Mathematicians, internal logical consistency, right? Physicists, empirical advocacy and predictive power. Philosophers, uncovering the fundamental nature of reality. So here are 3 fields, right, and 3 different ways that numbers are used. And neither one of these fields agree on a universal ontology for the definition of what we call numbers. Let's get into it. Right? Equations do not interpret themselves. Strict uninterpreted math is just a set of abstract relationships, as philosopher Penelope Maddy notes. Math works because it provides an effective structure for organizing empirical data. The success of our scientific models does not require us to believe that the theoretical entities, including abstract mathematical objects, literally populate the physical world. Vast as fraction, right? So as we see here, we have abstract formation, right? The translator, which is the, and then we place the abstract formation on the physical reality,
Humble.
right? The numbers themselves do not define reality, but the numbers help us map reality. You see what I'm saying? Hold on a second. Let me get that. Okay, maybe not quantum, I appreciate you, bro. Let's get into it. Pillar 3. The evolutionary engine. If numbers aren't out there in nature, where did it come from? Ancient cultures practiced naturalism long before the word existed. The human brain involved pattern recognition systems to track resources, navigate space, and manage social groups. So family, this I covered a little. I covered in one of my other presentations about naturalism, about naturalism. The ancient people, ancient world, why not naturalism? Because people of the ancient world, right, our ancestors, right, they practice naturalism way before we knew naturalism was. And so when we look back then, we see how we came up with the idea of naturalism to
Hum.
and track. Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Yo, man, you been chopping
Can you
up
hear
the
me,
whole
Quan?
time. Yeah, I can hear you now, but you've been choppy the whole time.
Oh my gosh.
I've been trying to
Are you
tell you.
serious?
Yep, I came in to try to tell you.
Yo, this is
It might
crazy. See, now I'm mad, bro. Now I'm mad. Now I'm
and
mad.
now you ain't chopping
Because
up. I
I've been
don't know.
sitting here. That's crazy, bro.
How long you been going?
Do I be doing this? Do I be doing this when you be live? Like, if you go live and then I come up on your live, do it still be this type of
Nope.
choppy?
You ain't choppy right now. It's crazy. Like since I done came up, you ain't choppy now.
Yo, get
I
out of
swear
here,
to
man.
God,
This is crazy, bro. I just sat here and gave all that good information and then I just been
you been
choppy.
choppy.
Yo, that's crazy work. Um, so what could I do? Let me see something real quick because I gotta cause I can go back over it.
How
Am
far?
I
How
choppy
long
now?
you been?
Am I choppy now, Quantum?
No, you only been live for 18 minutes, man. You can start that over.
Alright, bet. This is crazy. Ugh. Okay. Hey, Quantum, stay on that one. Just let me know if I get choppy, bro.
Just look like I gotta stay up. I gotta keep my like just like it's doing just like last night, humble. When I come up here, people can hear you and stuff. If I try to
Alright,
mute out,
bet. We gonna rock
they
out
gonna
that way
talk.
then. Alright, yeah, we gonna keep it that way because dang, that's crazy, man.
See, yeah, see, I can hear you now, so I'm gonna just drop down and stay with my mic unmuted, so I won't have no interference, and you should be able to go. I don't know why it's doing that. That shit is crazy.
That's crazy. Alright, so brother Akira said, brother Akira said, I was good until the fictionist solution slide. So let me get back to that. Alright. Okay. Okay. So this right here, I appreciate you, brother Akira. I appreciate you, brother Smash. I appreciate y'all for keeping me up. So right here, basically, I was just explaining that um Namirials and fictionalists, right? They hold the view that numbers as they hold the view that numbers do not exist as an objective thing in nature enough to itself. And so I was just going down in this slide. I was just going over, right, and how some of the ways and some of the examples, right, that numbers are not objective in nature unto itself. All right. This slide right here, I was breaking down the fact that numbers are shape shifting, right? So, what we often see in fields such as philosophy, mathematics, and physics is in each one of these fields, numbers are used as interpretive language and symbols, right? Numbers shapeshift depending on what field of study they're being used in. So that's what this was for. That's what I was breaking down in this slide. In this slide right here, I actually show. Can you actually see these slides, Brother Quantum? Is these slides clear for you? All right. So in this slide right here, I was actually showing how we actually bend the symbols to fit in the specific category or field of study that we operate in, right? And how mathematics, physics, and philosophers all use numbers differently. They all have a different interpretation on what numbers are based on how they're using them. This is one of the main reasons why I say numbers do not exist as an objective thing in nature. Let's get it. All right, bang. So this slide right here, equations do not interpret themselves. So this slide right here was going into how it always take a human translator to translate the symbols. Without the human translator to translate the symbols, right, and map them onto reality, the symbols are just symbols. They really don't mean anything until the person who's dealing with the equation then put the interpretations onto the equations. If I can give a really good example of this, Brother Quantum, I'm not picking on you, but if I can give a really good example of this, Brother Quantum have certain equations, right? And the symbols that he used in his equations, he put his interpretations on those symbols. You see what I'm saying? So it's not like those symbols are accepted universally. This is how equations in physics, equations in mathematics, and equations in philosophy are put together. They're put together through an interpretive lens, right? So this is why I say that numbers are numbers help us map reality, but they're not an intrinsic property or an objective thing in reality. Let's get into it. Oh, snaps, hold on. So this is pillar 3 I was going over, and I was dealing with the fact that the reason that I am a naturalist is because a lot of what we do today, right, stem back from naturalism in ancient times. Even us using the number system, right? Ancient people figured out a way to identify groups of things before the field of mathematics was a thing. And so even in ancient times, we see that numbers, there was a time where numbers were not, and then there was a time where numbers were. So we see even in history where numbers come into existence as a tool that is used for us to map the physical world, or what we call reality. Let's get into it. Right? Formalizing the mind. Over millennia, we formalize our cognitive capacities into symbolic systems. Mathematics consists of systems of arbitrary rules and symbols manipulated by humans. Numbers are cognitive artifacts created by the brain to map onto environmental regularities, right? So, symbolic formalism, numbers, tags, and equations, empirical pattern recognition, inductive and abductive reasoning, raw sensory data, sight and sound from the physical environment enters the system. So, now, what happens is, right, sight and sound or signals enter our sensory um our sensories, right? And what we do is we formulate um pattern recognition, right, with organization. And so what this is showing right now, right? So raw sensory data. So we take in raw sensory data, right? Then we use empirical pattern recognition, right? And then we symbolically form, right, or identify what we're taking in through symbols, tags, and equations. So this is how we identify the natural world around us, family. Um, and so let's get to the next one. All right. The grand synthesis, making the universe legible, right? So the grammar of reality, which it have no independent physicality, right? Radically interpretive and born from human condition, right? Numbers are grammar we invented to read the poetry of the cosmos. They are the ultimate human tool for translating the chaos out of the natural world into predictable, navigatable structures. Exactly, right? So one thing one thing I want to note that's really important, right, is that numbers are the grammar that we invented to read the poetry of the cosmos, right? Without the cosmos, the numbers that we invented, or without objective things, the numbers that we invented would be meaningless because they are not things in of to themselves. Step outside the matrix. When you realize that numbers are tools, not masters, you reclaim your power to interpret the world. Nature is the territory. Numbers are just the map. And that's it for my presentation, fam. Let me get back here. That's it for my presentation, family. I popped you back up here. That's it for my presentation, family. Something quick. Y'all know I don't get up here and I don't got no long presentations. But I did just want to go over numbers, bring a new subject today. That, hey, help people perceive reality a little different. Have people asking questions. You see what I'm saying? And get minds curious. You see what I'm saying? So, with that's my presentation, and that is the way that I actually, as a naturalist, perceive numbers. I actually had this idea to do this presentation last night, after getting over my frustration with my laptop, and see it was doing it today, so I was even frustrated a little bit today, but everything okay, family. I, as a naturalist, see numbers as labeling systems, right? They don't exist as of a thing unto itself. There is no such thing as a 4 or a 5 or a 6 or a 7. They don't become meaningful until we attach them to objective things in nature. I land my plane with that. What's up, brother Quantum? What's up, brother Quantum?
What's going down? What's going down, man? My bad. I came in
You good, brother?
late, so I didn't get to catch the first part. You ain't been live that long, though. I was over there watching. But yeah, numbers is a one of those topics that people get get into when they be talk. It's kind of like that topic they be having about the Neteru, are the Neteru
Mm-hmm.
literal or not? And for me, when I do my interpretations of numbers, I always just think about the one individual me and the one individual you. These are two different things.
Mm-hmm.
You put them together, we have a group. You put individual things, and so all of these individual things still equal an amount of something when you're looking at it in respect to figuring things out.
Mm-hmm.
Like the labeling of numbers, one, two, three, like you was talking about. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
those are the constructs we use so we can identify what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And so an individual is one, two individual things is two. There's still one and one, but we know it is two.
Yeah.
And so when I look, I can say that's two chairs, that's two. Those that concept for me is an identifier. When you was talking
Mm-hmm.
about my math, you did have that wrong though. I do still use the same geometric and symbolism that they use, and they the same in my math. The thing that's different in my math is the exponents that I use when I'm doing that. So I
Right.
do use
I
the
was
same.
just talking about the interpretive part.
Right,
What
the
you
exponents that I
interpret in
use.
your math, yeah.
Yeah. The exponents that we all use, like you have the right when you trying to um, figure something out or use mathematics to explain something to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm talking about humble, and humble is my point of reference, and I want to break it down to, I'm gonna put humble as H
Yep.
in my mathematical equation. But I don't have to. I could put humble
Right.
as A through Z. I could
That's
put
the
humble
point
as
right
one
there.
through
Yep.
nine. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's
Yep.
just me. It's just
That's the
depends on
point.
how I. And so when we think about numbers and symbols like, well, when I think about numbers and symbols like this, because
Mm-hmm.
this is exactly how I think about them. I think about them as identifiers. And so when
Yep.
people get into the deeper things of numbers, adding and how they make things work, it ain't that complicated to me because I understand one, two,
Mm-hmm.
three. These are still one set of three different individual things. Three
Mm-hmm.
is a set of three individual things. Four is a set
Now let me ask
of
you
four
this, brother
individual.
Quantum. Say you got three, right? So you
Uh
got
huh.
three of individual sets. Now take that number three, right? And what is it? You see what I'm
The
saying?
identifier,
The
the thing that
identifier.
identifies
But
whatever I'm talking.
when you deal with that identifier, right? It in of itself don't exist until you have something to identify it with. You see what I'm saying? So that's why what you were saying is so profound because yes, we have a group of three, right? But when you take the number three off of the group of three and you analyze that three, right, in of its own nature, what you find out is it actually is absent of a nature. The nature of the number three is what you put on it. You see what I'm saying? So now that takes me back. Who say that this is the number? Hold on, let me get my camera. Let me get my camera right. Who say this is the number one? Who came up with that? What if this is the number 15? What if this is the number 7? What if I want to come and I say, okay, you see this is the number 1, but I identify this as the number 22? Who's to say that we're wrong? We can come and place any label on any objective property because the identifier in of itself is up to our interpretation. Just like you was just saying with my name. You see what I'm saying? If you want to identify me in an equation, you can identify me as H. You can identify me as 8. You can identify me as Agent 0. The identifier that you place on me is interpretive upon who was doing the equation. You see what I'm saying? This is why in my presentation I said this is one of the main reasons why, in my view, numbers cannot exist as an objective thing unto itself. And we gonna get to the comments soon, family. I see y'all in there. I appreciate y'all engagement. But this is why I said numbers are not an objective thing unto their self. Um, let's get to some of these comments because they is in there going in. I appreciate you, brother Kira. I just want to get some shout outs real quick. Brother Kira, I appreciate you, brother. Brother Smash, thank you for coming through. You know we see you down there in the comments. Of course, brother Melanated, you feel me? Thank you so much. Of course, brother Roy Chess. Um, it's a let's see what brother Roy Chess say. You know, brother Roy Chess always got something to say on these type of topics. Um, Roy said, mathematics today is almost universal and not used differently across fields. Right. And so the interpretive language of mathematics is different than the interpretive language of physics, although they both use numbers. That was my point. Right? Both fields are almost universally across, across everywhere. The difference is how they interpretate the numbers, right, in their fields. Numbers express quantity. The idea is universal as well. Numbers do express groups and quantities of physical things, right? The idea is the idea is universal based off of our senses, right? Every country in the world don't use one or don't use the English term one to signify one. Some use right? Some use what's the Spanish word for the one number one? Uno.
Uno.
Right? So there's different ways that you can say the word one, right? While still attributing to that property. But the word one in of itself, right, is not a objective universal thing that has intrinsic properties. Brother Kira, I see you down here. Brother Kira said, peace, Roy Chess. This is a good breakdown, brother Humble. I'm always surprised how much I can learn from this platform, even on numbers. A lot of depth made simple to appreciate y'all always. You know we appreciate you, brother Kira. You know we appreciate you. And I do want to speak to that, brother Kira. That's always my goal, right? When I come up here, I always to make things for the family and the audience to be able to understand the concepts that we're bringing out, right? And that way, when y'all do go do your own research, y'all don't have to go and do all the hard work. The hard work has already been done. All you have to do is just go do the research. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead, brother Quantum. You got something you want to add?
Oh, no, no, no. I was
Okay.
talking to my people back there in the back.
Okay, take your
But
time, bro.
yeah, Roy Chess said the idea of numbers is universal. I mean, to identify individual things, yeah, the numbers are universal. I think that's what Humble's point was.
Mm-hmm.
We don't
Mm-hmm.
even like. It's not that the concepts aren't real because we use those concepts in problem solving effect.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we get into. Like I say, and I don't know if anybody else kind of sees this, the the similarity in the thing that we're talking about, but it's just like you could say, are numbers literal or not?
Mm-hmm. Are numbers
That becomes the
literal or not?
question of when you say numbers, are you talking about the actual thing that we write or the ideal and concept that we have on our mind that we use in reference to identifying? And so for me, and then like you already know, for me the imaginative imaginative mechanism that we have, the imagination, and to be able to imagine. Like I can imagine two of me's. I can imagine two humbles. Even though I know it's only one humble, I can imagine two. The only
Exactly.
reason I can imagine two is because I understand the concept of two individual things that would be humble. Now, can I identify two humbles in real life right now? No, I can identify that one humble, and I know that is objective. That's humble right there. In my mind, though, I can identify two humbles if I'm trying to do any mathematical explanations or any type of concept explanations. And so, like Roy just said, it don't change the fact that two, the number two written down, might not exist somewhere, as opposed to the fact that the concept of two and two individual things being identified in a group is two. So,
And
um,
even that, I was just looking at it earlier. Two people was just having that conversation of how to define numbers, and one of the guys was like, "Okay, well, we're gonna define numbers as numbers are defined as any set of numbers, right? That don't contain itself, right? So one, this subset is divided zero and null sets. You see what I'm saying? One contains null sets, two contain one and null sets, three contain two, one and null sets, things of that nature. Now, I want to go here because this is important. What Roy Chess said, right? Calling a pig a different name doesn't change the name from being a pig, doesn't change the animal from being a pig. That's exactly my point. When you take an objective thing, right, like a pig or a car or something, right, changing the name does not change what the object is. When you take a number, however, right, and you change the title, you change the interpretive definition, then that completely change what that identifier become, right? So like brother Quanda was just saying about two, right? Okay, well we know the concept. This is the concept of two, right? But if I'm trying to come up with a new form of philosophy, right? And I'm using symbols, I can use that symbol of two to mean anything.
anything you want.
You see what I'm saying? And of course, there's going to be people that's going to come and say, "Hey, man, that ain't the right way you use that. You can't use." Of course, but they would be misleading because the symbol is interpretive. I can interpret it however I want. There is no rules on that. Unlike a pig, right? I can't interpret the pig however I want because the pig has a mass, the pig has a volume, the pig has a color, the pig has a sound, the pig has all of these intrinsic properties to where as though I can't misidentify it with anything else. Whereas though the number one and the number seven does not. So I can mix the number one and the number seven up all day long because they don't have any definite properties to them. They don't have any definite meanings, right? And they don't have any definite meanings other than the labels we attribute to them. So that's my point there, brother Roy Chess. That's my point. It's say the label is subjective, but the idea is the same. Yeah, right. And even that, right? Because that goes back to what I was saying earlier, right? Whether we saying two, whether we saying dos, whether we saying two in many different languages, right? Just because I'm saying two does not mean that I am interpreting two the same way that a mathematician might interpret two. I might interpret two as 25. So it's all about interpretation when you're dealing with numbers, right? Now, this is why I say they are a useful tool to map reality, because when you put them on reality, like you were saying earlier, brother Roy Chess, that's when we deal with the logic of mathematics. What up? What up? What up? We got brother A1 in the panel. We got brother A1 in the comments. What it do, bro? It say we all have the same exact feelings. How they are expressed and interpreted define the perspective. Exactly. 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 And that defines, right? Um Not only the perspective, but they define how they are received as well, right? So just because we have the same grouping of numbers, right, how we express those numbers, right, and how we interpret those numbers, right, is strictly based off of our own interpretation or our own perspective. There are rules in mathematics. You would have to state you're not using mathematics. I mean, yeah. I'm sure that it become very apparent that a person is not using mathematics when they start seeing all the crazy numbers not adding up to what they would normally add up to.
Is that what you said?
In mathematics, these things are well defined now. I beg to differ, Roy Chess. We still don't know what a 3 is. We don't know what a 5 is. We don't know what a 7 is, other than being an identifier. What is the number 10 other than being an identifier? And yo, Smash is funny, bro. Smash, and listen, this is why I brought this. This is why I brought this presentation, right? Because I, we go through life, right? And though we think about a lot, oftentimes the most simplest things to us in life that we bypass every day, we don't even think about. You see what I'm saying? So we don't even think about the concept of numbers, but we use them every day. We use them when we counting money. We use them when we buying something. We use them when we get our tires changed. We use them when we go to the doctors. We always using numbers. But yet, I think very few of us actually stop to think about the nature of numbers. Now you just add confusion. You could just use unique symbols for the new idea. You could use unique symbols for the new idea. I mean, what if a person don't want to? You see what I'm saying? Hey, you know, um, I think the confusion will come into play with the people who are not willing to actually learn. You see what I'm saying? I don't think the confusion will come into universal confusion. I think it'll just come into the play with people who don't really care about it. Brother Smash is funny, Akira. Brother Smash is funny. Right. And so, um, if you do your research, Roy Chash, you'll find that there's a lot of mathematicians out here who would actually argue that numbers are objective, literal, physical objects. They would say that. They would literally say that numbers are a thing in of itself within nature. Exactly. Exactly, Mark. Exactly. 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 Shout out to the brother Maximus. Max. Shout out to the brother Max. Um, exactly. Right? Everything is symbol expression of consciousness, right? We perceive identifiers. You see what I'm saying? And that goes with everything. That goes with everything. And that's how we make sense of life. And that's not a bad thing. That's how we evolve, right? We evolve to survive. And so in the early stages, we had to know what was prey and what was a predator. We had to know what was harmful and what was helpful. We had to know, right, if we could actually make that jump from this branch to that branch, or if we can actually make that leap from this side of the hill cliff to that side of the hill cliff. We had to know those things. And so, with coming with all of that, we had to perceive new depth dimensions of reality. You see what I'm saying? Imagine um early life forms that didn't have depth perception. How many life forms fell off of cliffs because they didn't have depth perception? You see what I'm saying? And so we developed these things so we could survive. Not in the context of how you use objective. That means something else. That's something that me and Roy Chess always going to have a conversation about, the term objective and subjective. I don't know why Roy Chess don't grasp the concept that objective just means something independent of a feeling, a thought, and a perception. When I'm saying numbers are not objective, I'm saying numbers are not independent of our thoughts, feelings, or perception. Roy Chess said, objective in academia means something different from how you use the word objective. You seem to think it just means something physical and verifiable. Okay, so here's what we're going to do, family. Here's what we're going to do. All right, so this is what we're going to do, family. We're going to go over what objective means together in academia. All right, let's get it, family. Let's get it, family. All right. So, what this say here? Hold on, let me get it. So, what this say here?
My
In
bad, homie. I
it
stepped
say,
away.
what does objective mean in academia? In academia, an objective refers to a specific measurable state of what someone intends to achieve, discover, or demonstrate by the end of the project, lesson, study, or research paper. Depending on context, objectives are very different purposes across academia landscape. Research objectives, thesis, it's a dissertations and papers in academia research. Objective proves, so it's a learning objective, syllabus, objective versus subjective. This is what we're talking about: epistemology and methodology. Ha, here go right here. Objective approach, relying on empirical data, verifiable facts, and standardized measurements to estimate research bias. Subjective approach, interpreting phenomena through personal experience, quantitative worldview, and philosophical critique. So the main thing about objective and subjective is objective, right? Is matter of fact, Now we're going to look at the definition of objective. Am I clear, Quantum?
Yep.
Alright, good. I just want to make sure I'm clear. Alright, so now I'm going to look up the definition of the word objective. The word objective has two primary definitions depending on whether it's used in a noun or an adjective. As a noun, right, a goal or target. Right, as a noun, an objective is a specific tangible goal or intended outcome that you plan to achieve through a particular course of action, project, or plan, meaning and towards reach effort directed measurable target. As an adjective, imperial fact based. And an adjective objective describes something that is based on verifiable facts, evidence, and reality. Entirely, family, entirely free from personal bias, emotions, opinions, and cultural conditioning. So, Roy Chess, I know exactly what the word objective means. Exactly. It says, does technology and convenience influence devotion? Because people aren't getting smarter because people aren't getting smarter because are getting smarter or more capable because of these things. Mark, you gotta say that again. I don't know what you mean. Humble asks if there are other contexts of the word. You love picking the science terms because that's what I'm talking about, Roy Chess. If I'm talking in science, then I'm gonna pick terms dealing with science. If I'm talking in history, I'm gonna pick terms dealing in history. If I'm talking mathematics, I'm gonna pick terms using mathematics. I don't understand. I don't understand your point. Why you want me asking something else? Too fast. Hey, Smash, what you mean too fast? You want me to go read it again? If you want me to read it again, let me know. Put it in the comments. I got you. No, you not. You know only the science context alone. Roy Chess. We're speaking about science and philosophy. What do you mean? The other context is dealing with goal orientation. It's dealing with, being driven forward by something. So the adjective context is the context that I'm dealing with it in. Unless, what context do you use the word objective in, Roy Chess? That's what I'm interested in. What view do you take when you use the word objective and subjective? Oh, you was correcting your comment. Okay. But yeah, family. So this is. I think I'm gonna do something else on the objective and subjective thing too, because what? I think I am going to do a breakdown on the words objective and subjective, so we can know what they mean. Because Roy Chess seems to think objective have a whole bunch of different meanings, and I'm going to show him that they don't. We gonna go to a word from our sponsors, family. Feel free to hit that like button, man. Hit that like button. If you are new here, please subscribe. Thumbs up the video, share the video, and let's get to one of these commercials, family.
Attention all debate fans. You've been watching, you've been arguing, you've been picking sides. But now it's time to level up. From this point forward, all debates on this platform are going members only. That means the hottest clashes, the wildest arguments, and your favorite personalities going head to head will only be available to subscribers. You want real scholarship? You want the smoke? You want the unfiltered action? Then don't get left outside looking in. Sign up today for as low as $3.99 and get full access to every debate, every moment, every knockout argument. This is Titans Debate League, where legends are made and debates get real. Join now or miss out.
Welcome back, family, and we are back. Um, and one of the main things I want to dive into right now is the very fact that these presentations are very important because oh, go ahead, brother. A. What's up? We got brother A1 on the stage. What it do, Brody? Um, these things
Peace,
are very
peace.
important because we have people that just come out the woodworks. You see what I'm saying? They don't know what they be talking about on these subject matters. At least when we bring these subject matters to the forefront, we give the family the ability to now go look at these things for themselves, go determine how they're going to view these structures and things of that nature. Um, and so that's why presentations like this, the presentation that Brother A1 had the other day, my presentation, that Brother Quantum presentations, that's why, these presentations are so important. Let's hear what Roy Chess said. He down there still talking. It said, you are missing the ingredients, humble. Objective has to
Just
be consistent truth value, an unchangeable truth value, the truth value or a result of an unavoidable. So something true remains true. What, Roy Chess? Yo, this is Roy Chess word salad, bro. Roy Chess be terrible with the word salad, bro. Roy
come on
Chess
up,
be
Roy
terrible
Chess.
with the word salad. He says something that is false always remains false. Adding those things to the ingredient, the independent existence. What? Roy Chess, what you talking about? That don't have
Let me
anything to
see.
do
I'm not
with
married.
the this don't have anything to do. Oh, what you was saying, Quantum? My bad. I couldn't hear you. Go ahead,
He
Brody.
said something that's false always remains false. Well, let's just say before I was married, it was false to say that I had a wife.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I got a wife and I'm really married, it's no longer false to say I have a wife.
There you go. That's a fact. That's a fact right there. That's because Roy Chess be trying to over complicate simple things. The goal is not to overcomplicate simple things, but it's to make these things comprehensible, right? So when I say the word objective, I'm not trying to go down no deep dive rabbit hole. I will on Tuesday probably. I will on
Oh,
this Tuesday coming up. But normally when I'm speaking of the word objective, I'm not going down no deep dive rabbit hole of what the intrinsics of the property is of what makes up something objective. No. I'm just explaining something that is independent of my feelings, my thought, and my perception. That's it. We ain't gotta go down something that's true is unchangeable, something that's false. We ain't gotta go all down that road. Something that is independent of your thought, your perspective, and your interpretation is considered objective. Point blank, period. Roy Chess said that mean it ain't objective, Quantum.
well, then that just means that his statement was incomplete, like he was saying yours was.
Mm-hmm. If something can change, he said, if something can change truth, value is not objective.
I don't think it changed the truth.
I don't think he understands. Water is objective, whether you want to understand it or not. Water is an objective thing. Water change states all the time. Water don't stay water. Water turning to steam. Water turning to ice. So that doesn't change the fact that water is an objective property all unto itself. So I don't get what you're saying there, Roy Chess.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you, brother Kara. I appreciate you. Nobody see nobody is saying that. You're saying objective things don't change truth value ever. Nobody is saying objective things change truth value. What what I am saying is that objective things exist. We know things are objective based on their state of existence. If they exist, if their state of existence is outside of my interpretive perspective, then they are objective. If they exist within my perspective interpretation, then they are subjective. So I don't understand where you're saying the truth value come into play. No, yo, I don't. Hey, you gotta bring some up so I can have some conversations with him, cause I don't think so. Can water change
From the
from
way
being
you use the word,
H2O?
truth value can
Absolutely,
change.
absolutely. When water becomes purely oxygen, right? It no longer have the hydrogen bonds to bond it to keep it a liquid. It turns into a gas. I don't I don't think you understand how the cycle of liquid work, Roy Chess. That was crazy right there. You don't know that water evaporate and turn into a gas? That's crazy. Kira is hilarious. Hey man, that's paying attention is crucial, brother Akira. Paying attention is crucial. Hey yo, my man Roy Chess is crazy. He said you're not thinking correctly because of bias. Well, how about this, Roy Chess? You go research what the word objective mean, and then come on a panel and tell me something different than I've already told the people. How about you do that? Go get the word objective, find out the definition, come up here and share a different definition than the definition that I already gave the family. You can't do it. It's impossible. The definition of objective is what the definition is. You can't change that. The
Roy
way that
Chess,
I
come up and explain. It sounds
he
better
ain't
when
gonna
it's coming from your voice, Roy Chess.
you say humble. The way that you are using the word, the truth values can change. Um, that's nature. The truth value in nature changes, right? Do a tree stay a tree? Yeah, until a human come and knock it over and then turn it into burning wood for fire for the fireplace, right? Um, do a beehive stay a beehive? Yeah, until humans come and cut it down and turn it into raw honey. You see what I'm saying? So when you're saying truth values, I'm using it in the way that truth values can change. That's because in nature, truth values do change, right? Something can exist in one state in 1 minute, and in the very next minute, they can exist in a whole different state. Let me bring it more. Let me put it more plain like this, so we can all understand. In one instance, a human can exist, and in the very next instance, that human that did exist is gone, wiped off the face of the earth. The truth value in that changed. In one instance, a caterpillar is a crawling bug. In the next instance, right, when it pop out from its cocoon, is a bug with wings. The truth value changed. So you can't sit here and say something that is objective Why do tadpoles? If that was if your claim was true, then when tadpoles was born, they would stay tadpoles forever. But instead, what do? They change into frogs. So when you get into life, the one thing you note that's very consistent about life is change. That's the one consistent guarantee that you know about life is change. And so once again, brother Roy Chess, I don't think you really comprehend what the word objective is. Truth is like man, 1 plus 1 is 2 is universally agreed. Hey, unless you put one droplet of water on top of another droplet of water, which just make one big droplet of water. It don't make two separate droplets of water.
Nope.
I'm just saying.
Triangles have exactly three sides as
Jay
objective.
Snake, it said, yeah, but it doesn't turn, we was talking about the water and the oxygen. It doesn't turn into oxygen gas, it turns into water vapor. Yeah, it turns into water vapor. Right? Because it's too heavy, it's too light now, right? The molecules, right? It changed form, right? Um, if you, for an example, um, trap. Let me, let me, Jay Snakes. Let me deal with this real fast. So when you trap the water vapor, as we're gonna call it, Jay Snake, when you trap the water vapor, right? In a certain condition, the water vapor turns back into water, right? And you think, okay, well, this is regular water vapor. This is J Snake. You realize the planet does the same thing. Same thing. But the very air we breathe in, we don't call water vapor, do we? We call oxygen. See, this the thing. This is why we gotta understand when you boil in a pot of water, you're literally doing the exact thing that the earth does when it's going through its seasonal cycles of rain. Same exact thing. But in this case, when we're dealing with the earth, we call that air, oxygen. But here we call it water vapor. Same thing. You see what I'm saying? So to go back to Roy Chess point on this, um, water change shapes. But water in of itself is an objective thing within existence, independent of any of our interpretations or subjective beliefs. That's the point that I'm making with that. Truth is not universally agreed. Um, that depends. Subjective truth is not universally agreed upon. But if something is objectively true, then whether it's universally agreed upon or not, it's still objectively true, right? The Earth, the Sun is the center of our galaxy, not galaxy. I apologize. Our solar system,
Solar system.
right? The Sun is at the center of our solar system. That's subjectively true. It doesn't matter who agree with it or not. Smash. The very fact that it's an objective thing happening outside of our subjective thoughts is what make it objective. You don't have to agree. Truth stand on its own merit. It don't need nobody to agree with it. Nobody at all. Roy Chess said you could just look for it in other contexts. I already know this. You could simply look up philosophy, how to use the word. I did that already. You told me do that. I looked it up already. Academic settings. I looked it up the definition, and they all said the same thing. Something that's dealing with empirical data, empirical truth, something that is dealing with empirical measurements that are not based upon subjective biases. That's what objective is. Thank you. Thank you. Somebody in the comments paying attention. Somebody in the comments is paying attention. This is crazy. I see you down there laughing, Smash. Hey, what's up? What's up? Hey, y'all brothers here? Or is it just me up here?
I'm here.
Okay, okay, okay. What's up? What's up, brother Quantum? What you think about this, bro? I'm sitting here
Look,
reading these comments. Um,
objective is based on facts, evidence, and reality without being influenced by personal feelings or opinions. Yeah, I think that's what objective is,
mhm.
if I'm not mistaken.
Look at what Roy Chess told him. That's only the science definition. Come on. See, Roy Chess, you gotta stop playing these games, bro. You gotta stop playing these games, bro. That's only the science definition. That's the only field that we're speaking about right now. I don't know why you try and drag all these other fields into what we're speaking about right now. It don't make any sense.
And
No, J Snake, I wasn't saying that pure oxygen and water vapor were the same thing. I was using that analogy to say that water is objective. However, it changed states, right? I'm not saying that oxygen gas and water vapor are the same thing. I'm saying that under certain conditions, right, this objective thing in nature, what we call water, turn into a vapor, a gas. And so that dispels Roy Chess's something can't change idea, right? Oh, well, just because, you know, it changed, then it's not objective. No, that's not true. Something could change and still be objective. You're going through processes of cycles of life, not changes. Transformations, changes, transmutations. You can use those words. Yes, that is how oxygen is made. That is how oxygen is made, right? That doesn't negate the fact that all that hydrogen atoms bind to oxygen atoms and make water. There you go, Reish. Water is objective, but but opinions about water are subjective. Great example. Great example. That's a fact as well, J Snake. That's a fact as well. What changed the state of things, right, is how close the molecules are and how fast they're vibrating. That's a fact. That's a fact. And that's with everything in nature. That's everything. It's the Western definition. Here come King Herc. It's the Western definition. What's up, brother Herc? We see you down there. Did we hold on, let me did we open up the panel? Come on up here, y'all. Come on up here. They mean truth does not depend on anyone's opinions, feelings, or beliefs. That's a fact, Rage. I don't know why Roy Chess be trying to say like that's not true. That's crazy, bro. If it's based on your feelings or opinions or beliefs, then that's not objective. So I don't get what you be trying. I don't get what you be trying to add with that, brother Roy Chess. A mathematical theorem is objectively true. Okay, where you going with that though? Okay, where you going with that though, Roy Chess? Meaning is universally holds true in all cases. Right, but what did that have to do with something being not of one's own opinion or perception? That's where I think that's where you are getting lost at, Roy Chess. When yo, race funny. That's where you are getting confused at Roy Chess. You are thinking that truth, so you're coming from a perspective that there are different truths. Or are you saying that there is one truth? Because something being objectively true, I don't I don't get where you try and go with that. You can
Roy
add to
Chess,
your part to
listen,
what I stated.
you can add
You
your part to what I stated.
yeah, that's
You're
crazy.
not giving complete definitions.
But that's literally hey Quana, what's the complete definition to the word objective?
Well, let me look and see. Because I don't want to give you no wrong definition, Roy. Roy Chess.
Hey, listen.
Now,
I can't believe that Mister. Somebody got an echo. Mister, I'm not going to allow you to use the dictionary as a source to define your terms. I can't believe he's talking about someone's not giving complete definitions. The irony.
The craziness here.
Yeah, the irony. You're using the dictionary as a source. How else am I supposed to make sure that we're defining the term the same way and that we're talking about the same thing?
Facts. That's crazy.
But I guess, Roy Chess can have it his way. Like is that Burger King?
See, this is
Have it
no, no,
his
this
way? Or is that McDonald's?
is the problem right here. This is the problem right here. Look, what's what he
You
said. Something
chopping up, humble.
that be true. It's true.
You chopping.
Independent of other being
yeah, I don't know what it is. Every time I mute my mic, Humble
ideas
start
or
chopping up in
opinion.
here.
Is he chopping
Oh
for you
yeah,
too?
yeah. That might be what it is.
There you go. You coming in clear now.
Am I choppy now?
No, because I'm
I didn't
unmuted.
accuse you
Okay.
of
I don't
using a
know why I
dictionary,
be
Roy
doing that,
Chess.
bro.
I don't know why you're stating that. Word definitions are based on context. Yeah, I didn't accuse you of using a dictionary. But that's how we actually define terms and make sure that someone is giving a complete definition. But if I were to pull out my whole point was that if I were to pull out a dictionary, You would somehow say that's a bad thing, as if I'm trying to make the dictionary the authority, when really I'm just trying to bring clarity so people aren't playing semantics and arguing past each other. Because, in a subjective sense, we all have our own definition for a lot of these words. A lot of people think they know what something means until they look it up. The dictionary is a tool to be used to bring clarity, to make sure people are using the terms properly or understand what another person's saying. It's never an authority, though. A clarifying tool, yes. But I digress. I'm gonna mute out.
I'm here, family. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Am I clear now?
Yep, yep. And I was on mute.
Okay. I don't know. See, this is the crazy thing. I don't do this. To y'all, like, I come to y'all. That's crazy.
But as soon
It's
as
something
I
I'm
can't see, I'm gonna leave and come back.
And then I see if Alright. Hey, can you hear me? Check my chat. Why you know? On my choppy. Let's see if it is. Am I? Is this me messing up? Or is this my laptop being choppy? Let me see. Alright. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Anyone? Can you hear me? Or is it on my choppy? Alright, so maybe you can't hear me. Um, I'm gonna wait until you get back up here. I want to hold on. Let me make sure I'm getting hurt. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Oh, nope. Hold on. Alright.
Where everybody go? What happened? They just left me up on stage by myself. Oh, okay, he was choppy, so maybe he's trying to fix it and they're coming back or something. Okay, while we wait on that, I'll go to a little interlude, little midstream break.
They say I perfected the time and again. Titans the base league, we here for the win. Born divine with all of my kin. I see they religious, they worry about sin. That's all they do and they be like, they say I perfected the time and again. Titans the base league, we here for the win. born divine, and all of my kin. See they religious, they worry about sin. Hop out the Lexus and slid in the Benz. Pouring libations with all of my friends. Manifesting got me 10 out of 10. I live in abundance, got money to spend. They say I perfected the time and again. Titans the base league, we here for the win. Born divine, and all of my kin. See they religious, they worry about sin. Hop out the Lexus and slid in the Benz. Pouring libations with all of my friends. Manifesting got me 10 out of 10. We gone to the top, little shorty, get in. Yeah, watch how you address me when you step in the room. I'm the host and debater, HNXC in full bloom. I be there for lashes like work to my floor. Check your epistemics before you knock on my door. Y'all talking.
We got Oli back. We got Oli back.
Man, I don't know. That's crazy. Every time last night when Humble went live, when I went in there, his shit was choppy. I unmuted my button to tell him he was choppy, and then he became unchoppy. And so I noticed that whenever I go in there with Humble, well, last night and today, first I've noticed it last night, I'm just like, oh shit, maybe it's something with my shit. And so I just left it unmuted. But he started today and he was good. I came in later and it made him choppy again. And now, every time I mute up or something or leave, and he done been there, it make him choppy. Let's see what he do. Let me see if I go on mute right now. Come up, Humble.
Yup.
Okay, now I'm a mute.
All right. What's up? What's up? Am I clear? Am I choppy? I don't. I about to say I can hear
Yeah,
echo.
see,
I
you
think
wasn't
that's from
choppy.
you, brother. A1. Am
You
I
didn't
still
chop us that
choppy?
time.
I'm
Nope,
not.
you wasn't choppy.
Okay.
Nope.
Did you start a new room or it's the same room?
This still the same room.
Okay.
And you got the echo, Quantum.
Okay. I don't know, man. Because my laptop don't be doing it. Like when I be hopping up from the comments or like when I come through and I like say A1 live or you live and I come up, my laptop don't be doing that. I don't know why I do that when I go live. That's crazy.
It seemed like it's only gonna do it if you in the room first.
Right. So I'm all good now, right? All right. He said I'm good. It's
Yeah, you
just the
still good
echo.
because I was on mute and you wasn't choppy.
Okay. Okay. So that's probably what do
The
it
echo
too.
coming from Quantum. Quantum, do you have your speakers on or something?
Oh, he said a echo coming from Quantum.
I'm on mute.
Oh, well, when you talk, I just heard an echo. Maybe it's coming from
All right,
Humble.
hold on. I'm gonna mute up now. You talk, Quantum.
Yo,
Okay, the echo
yo,
gone.
yo,
So
yo.
the echo was coming from Humble then.
All right, so the echo.
Am I still? Is it echoing now? Am I echoing?
No, now talk, Quantum. Oh
Yo,
no.
yo, yo.
Oh no. All right, A1, try to mute up. Hold on, we gonna meet you, A1. All right, I'm talking. You hear echo, Quantum?
No, if you mute A1 Humble, it's gonna make you choppy because A1 was the first one in here.
Okay. Am I still talking?
You choppy now because A1 on mute.
Okay.
Unmute A1 now. Start talking.
And so now I'm not choppy no more. And so now I'm not choppy no more, Quantum. Oh, that's crazy. Work. My laptop work like that. I like that. When did
That's crazy.
that start happening, bro? Yeah. When did it start doing the little... Yes, I think what we're going to have to do is... we don't hear no echo now. You hear echo?
I can't hear you.
Yeah.
No, you choppy now. Ain't nobody. It don't look like nobody muted.
Ain't nobody muted. Yeah, so we might have to just talk another. A lot of mics have you all. You might have to loud there, and then you all put it in that way. And I don't know why I'm
Now I'm gonna leave and come back. Watch.
let me see. All right, now Smash, not good on my chopping. Hold on a second.
Yeah, yeah. All this knowledge on the flow, 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 flow. I've been golden from the go, 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 go. Let these pseudo scholars know, no, 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 oh. Baby, welcome to the show, 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 show. Yeah, show you how to flex with a strong point. Wait, wait, show you where the facts and the stats and the proofs point. I've been grinding leases in the late night. Wait, standing on the stage with the main light, enlightened, mind enlightened. Philosophers, scientists, historians united. Warriors of logic who want the smoke, get excited. Bring your primary sources, don't get ignited. Slide on my prompts, look it up, read a book. Never going back to the dumb, take a look. Woke, not broke, we run the show, sport the glow. Titans in the league, watch the intellect grow. Coliseum arguments locked at the door. Welcome to the show, floor full of lore. I'm the GOAT, with the flow, there's knowledge on the flow, 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 flow. I've been goated from the go, 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 go. Let these pseudo scholars flow, 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 flow. Baby, welcome to the flow, 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 flow. Seems only time when I'm speaking, reason, 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 peeking. Like the truth that they all have been seeking, my logic weakened. To them that's important, show up, don't be late to the debate. Never see myself falling, 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 falling. Picture me falling off back to ignorant and stalling. Got the citations loaded in order, crossing every intellectual border. Hey, I could've never seen a day. All this knowledge on the flow, 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 flow. I've been goated from the go, 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 go. Let these pseudo scholars go, 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 go. Baby, welcome to the show, 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 show. Hey.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. That's good. I think I had to refresh. I did what you did. I did what you said, Smash. I refreshed it, and I think it's doing good. I think it's doing good. So, but yeah, for the most part, that's what the day thing was about for me, for real, was just talking about my perspective or naturalistic perspective on how I view numbers. Not being an objective thing in nature. Um Next week I'm going to talk about objectivity and subjectivity as individual topics, giving deep dives, telling the difference between um you good for now. Thank you, brother Smash. Thank you, brother Smash. Next week I'm going to be giving a breakdown about what's the difference between objective and subjective, and how can we tell if our thoughts or things are objective and subjective. You see what I'm saying? So I think that's going to be a good breakdown for next week. Other than that, man, the floor is open. The floor is open. Feel free to come up here, y'all. Feel free to come up here. Come on up here, Smash.
And I was scared to unmute. Because I don't know if I'm gonna mute back up and it's gonna make you choppy. But let's run the experiment because we're gonna have to do it sometime.
Run
I'm
an
gonna mute back up.
experiment.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm just to mute up, see if it make you choppy.
All right. So, my mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. I'm choppy on good. It's here and
Now I
there.
say mic check 1 2 1 2.
Check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2.
Damn, that's crazy, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you ain't choppy.
That's crazy. I don't know, bro. Man, I said I was good.
It's like I ain't gonna even lie to you, homie. It's like when you went over there to Sinetta put a virus on your computer. And now your computer every time you come over here.
Not put a virus on my shit. Hell no. We need to get that up out of there. That's probably I'm using the one from downstairs.
Yeah, that's crazy. Now say something.
Mic check 1 2 1 2.
I can kind of hear you, but it's still like in and out. That's crazy, man. Now I'm gonna leave humble and see what the chat say. See what Akira. See if I leave. Do humble come in? Good.
Yo, hey, where everybody go at? Where everybody go at? All right, family. Am I still choppy? Am I still choppy? Am I still choppy? Am I still choppy? I'm good now. Okay, 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 okay. You can hear me perfect? Okay, okay. Come up here, Quantum. See if you can hear me on the panel. All right, so everybody's saying yep, yep, yep. Let me see if I share my screen with y'all still be able to hear me, or is it still choppy? Um, all right. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2.
You good? I can hear you.
All right. Now mute up and see if I get
Now
chopped.
I'm mute up. Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. Now I'm mute up. Yep. You got choppy.
We gonna have to.
Soon as I
What we
muted
gonna have
up.
to do? What we gonna have to do? If not right now, maybe a later on today. We just have one of y'all start up the live, and then I'll just join the live from there. That way, because this don't happen when I'm joining y'all live.
That's what I'm saying. And it only happens when I mute myself. When I mute me.
Yeah. Let me see. Hold on. Let me. All right. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. I'm gonna mute you. I'm gonna see if I get choppy. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. I'm still choppy. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what this is. Then this is crazy.
And then as soon as I unmute, you get unchoppy.
Yeah, that's crazy. Let me see. Matter of fact, let me see something quick. Uh,
Tell him
uh,
you went over
let
there
me
and they
see.
got you. They got your they
Man. That shit is crazy. No, so it ain't nothing from there.
like
So
you
I think what I'm
perfect,
gonna
man.
have to do is I'm gonna have to just give a whole swipe and then try this all again. So we
I
gonna do
don't know,
family
humble,
is
because
we gonna
it ain't doing it when you by yourself. And when you with A1, it only do it when I come up here.
yeah, so I don't know. That's that's crazy.
Oh
I don't
no,
know.
when I take that back. When A1 muted, you did get choppy, didn't you?
Yeah. So I might have to do a whole system sweep. And then so we gonna do families, we gonna shut it down. And then we'll be
I'm
back a
coming
little
back
later.
on
Go
in
ahead.
an hour and a half, an hour or something. I got a little
Yep.
presentation I'm gonna give, and we'll work from it from there.
All
See what it's
right,
doing.
all right.
Cause that's
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show, or you could take this over if you want to do that, or you do your little hour and a half, however you want to do it.
well, yeah,
Um,
I'm still getting my little stuff together. So I
all
need a little
right,
bit more time.
all right.
But I'm gonna
Family
make a new
back
stream
here
because it
eight
might just
thirty.
be this particular. It
Go
might
ahead.
just be this. Oh no, because this is a new stream from last night. It did it last
Yep,
night too. Then
yep, yep. And that's why
yeah,
I
we're gonna
wanted to
see what
check it
happens if I
today.
start the stream. I'm gonna
Yeah.
come back
All
and
right,
work from there.
family. So we be back with y'all, and we appreciate y'all as well. Y'all know, stick around, come back later. The brother Quantum said he got something today too, so you know. And with that, we out, fam. We be back on later.
I'm gonna drop one of these songs. I'm gonna drop that Coliseum song before we get up out of here.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All this knowledge on the flow, 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 flow. I've been golden from the go, 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 go. Let these pseudo scholars know, no, 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 oh. Baby, welcome to the show, 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 show. Yeah, show you how to flex with a strong point. Wait, wait, show you where the facts and the stats and the proofs point. I've been grinding leases in the late night. Wait, standing on the stage with the main light, enlightening, mind enlightening. Philosophers, scientists, historians united. Warriors of logic who want the smoke, get excited. Bring your primary sources, don't get ignited. Slide on my prompts, look it up, read a book. Never going back to the dumb, take a look. Woke, not broke, we run the show, sport the glow. Titans in the league, watch the intellect grow. Coliseum arguments locked at the door. Welcome to the show, floor full of lore. I'm the GOAT, with the flow, there's knowledge on the flow, 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 flow. I've been goated from the go, 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 go. Let these pseudo scholars flow, 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 flow. Baby, welcome to the show, 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 flow. Seems only time when I'm speaking, reason, 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 peeking. Like the truth that they all have been seeking, my logic weakened. To them that's important, show up, don't be late to the debate. Never see myself falling, 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 falling. Picture me falling off back to ignorant and stalling. Got the citations loaded in order, crossing every intellectual border. Hey, I could've never seen a day. All this knowledge on the flow, 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 flow. I've been golden from the go, go,